If you're struggling as a real estate agent and find yourself working hard but not getting the results that you're expecting, it's oftentimes because you've been lied to. In this video, I'm going to expose the 10 most common lies that real estate agents are fed, which leaves them struggling, spinning their tires, wondering why they're not seeing the fruit of their labor. And I'm gonna make sure that you also have the truth of what you need to do in order to succeed as a real estate agent. Not only are these the realizations that helped me break six figures in my first year and every year after that, but I've also now had the pleasure of coaching over 6,500 agents and have helped many of them go from struggling to breaking 6, even 7 figures in 12 months by overcoming these 10 critical lies. So let's dive in and start to debunk some of these common myths so that by the end of this video, you have clarity, confidence, and you're on a proven path to success. Now, before I dive in, I want you to comment below and let me know what the biggest lie is that you have heard since being in the real estate industry. I'm always curious to see what some of you had to say and what you've experienced, because this list could certainly be much longer. So take a quick second, drop that comment, and now let's dive in. Lie number 1 is going to be, if you're consistent, clients will come. I hear that all the time. Consistency is key. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you're consistent, it's all going to work out. Now, there is some validity to the fact that consistency is key, and that is a common trait across every successful agent that I've coached and every successful agent I've ever met in the industry. But the major caveat and why it's a lie is that if you're consistent with the wrong things, you could be consistent for the next 10 years and never get a single client. To give you 2 examples, cold calling and then content. If you're cold calling or door knocking and you've got a terrible script and terrible objection handlers, you can keep calling and calling and calling, but you're never gonna get a client. Similarly, on social media, if you're posting the wrong stuff, like the majority of agents where they're posting templated Canva graphics and interior design photos and their Instagram looks like a homes and land magazine, you could be posting consistently every day for the next 10 years and you'll never generate a single lead from your content. Consistency is key, but the caveat is, and the truth behind it, is you have to be consistent with the right activities. If you're consistent with the right activities, it is then inevitable that you're gonna start to close deals from whatever activity you decide. Lie number 2, you have to prospect or you have to cold call, otherwise you're gonna fail. I hear this all the time, especially from brokers at very old school traditional brokerages, because I've experienced with that myself, and they oftentimes tell you, you have to cold call, you have to prospect. Well, let me explain why that's a lie. Oftentimes where that's stemming from is that the majority of people are going to tell you to do business the way that they know how to do business. And oftentimes when you're learning from more old school or more traditional or seasoned agents that have said the quote that everybody in the industry hates, well, I've been doing this for 20 or 30 years, right? That's probably the biggest pet peeve of the majority of agents in the industry is when you hear somebody that says how long they've been doing it for. Just because you've been doing something for ages doesn't mean that that is still the way to do it or it's the only way to do it. Just like the fact that I tell people how to leverage YouTube and social media to generate leads because I know how to do that. But I've also door knocked, and if people want immediate business, I do tell them you should be prospecting. But it's not the only way. If somebody's telling you that it's the only way or the best way, it's a bold lie, and it's just because it's the only way they know how to do it. Everything works if you're willing to do the work. I know agents that make 7 figures a year from door knocking, cold calling, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook ads, Google ads, you name it. I know people that have excelled at it at the highest level. It's not the activity, it's how you do the activity. And so yes, does cold calling work? For sure. But have I also helped brand new agents never make a call in their life in order to close 6, even 7 figures in their first 12 months with no experience? Yes, of course, many of them. And if you want to see how to close deals using Instagram, for example, just click the link in the description. There's a free 90-minute training there. You can check it out and it'll give you the entire roadmap on how to break 6 figures in the next 12 months without having to prospect. I'm not against prospecting. If you want immediate business now, it is the way to go because you're able to get in front of more conversations every single day. Content can take 3-6 months to build momentum, then it starts to snowball. But it's a massive lie if somebody's telling you that you have to do this, otherwise you can't succeed. Lie number 3 is that you have to buy leads in order to close deals. Here's a major problem in the real estate industry. Most people believe that they need more leads. But the truth is, most agents don't actually have a lead problem, they have a lead conversion problem. Generating leads is incredibly easy. If you want to know how to generate leads within 24 hours, go to my YouTube channel, check out my latest Facebook ad tutorial, and it's almost certain that you're gonna generate leads, multiple of them, within the first 24 hours. Very easy. One tutorial, it's free, it's on my channel, go check it out. You'll get leads in 24 hours. Converting leads is where the magic happens. Nurturing and following up. That's why sometimes you hear people say that the magic is in the FU or the follow up, not maybe what you were assuming, but it's very true. And here's how most agents double or triple their business. If they have 100 leads and they're closing 1%, the average agent is told that they need 300 leads to triple their production. Well, smart agents realize that if they just get better at converting those leads and convert 3% out of the 100 instead of 1%, you now tripled your production with the same amount of leads and the same amount of ad spend. That is where the magic happens. Lie number 4, join a big brand and you're gonna get business. Join the big brokerage, join the big name that everybody knows and you're gonna get business. Well, if that was the case and if there was any realm of truth to that, then there would be some brokerages out there where every agent at that brokerage is a top producer. It doesn't exist, I've never seen it, and it will never exist. There is great agents at every brokerage that close a ton of deals. There's terrible agents at every brokerage that do nothing. It has nothing to do with the brokerage. It has everything to do with you. I've been at a brokerage in my local market when I got started out that is the most recognized one in my city, where all the luxury agents were there. Well, I got luxury deals, but they came directly to me from my Instagram. Then I went to a local boutique brokerage that nobody had heard of. I tripled my production after joining that brokerage because people worked with me. Then I came to eXp Realty and my income 10x'd in 12 months because people work with me and they would work with you no matter what brokerage you're at. Now, the critical thing to understand here is how you're getting compensated from that brokerage in terms of making sure that you're making the most amount of money humanly possible for the time you're putting into your business, but also making sure that you're getting the right training from that brokerage so you don't have to go spend an arm and a leg on webinars and seminars and programs and events and all this other stuff, right? That's why a lot of agents that watch me end up partnering with me at eXp Realty, because they get my direct mentorship, all of my social media training, AI training, and daily mastermind calls, and a ton of other stuff that has helped all the agents I've featured on my YouTube channel see massive success because it's all free. And they get more money because of the compensation structure at eXp, which transparently is better than any other brokerage I've ever seen in North America. So if you would like to have a chat about getting more support, mentorship training, and making a ton more money for doing what you would already be doing anywhere else, then I encourage you to book a call with me or one of my business partners in the link in the description. But people will work with you regardless of what brokerage you're at. Knowing that, choose the brokerage that's going to give you the most money, the most opportunity, and the most value. Lie number 5, you don't need to be on social media. Now, the caveat here is that I do know some agents that aren't active on social media and they're crushing it. The caveat to that is that they actually have been in the industry for like 15, 20, 30 years. They actually properly nurtured their sphere and their database, or their SOI, sphere of influence, and they did so to the point where they can live off repeat and referral. But if you're a brand new agent or within your first 5 years and you're not actively leveraging social media, you are invisible. In real estate, it's not just who you know, but now based on social media, it's who knows you. Far more people have been able to identify my brand than people I personally know, which is why my business has scaled. Same with people like Suman Kim. He didn't know a single person when he moved to Austin, but because of his YouTube channel, he did 87 deals in his first year from people who knew him because he was active on social. So if you're new or you're getting started or not doing the production you want, social media is a non-negotiable. Line number 6, experience is everything. This is BS. And again, this goes back, and I saw a post in a Facebook group the other day where somebody asked, what is the number one thing you hate when people say? And the number one reply, hundreds of replies, was that I hate when people say, well, I've been doing this for 10, 15 years. Now, the truth is, and this is the crazy part, is that while some agents are gonna rest their hat on that achievement where they've been in the industry for like 20 years, there's a reason why the majority of them are still broke, because they've relived their first year for 20 years. It's very rare that you've seen an agent that has to even use the fact that they've been in the industry for X amount of time, because their results will show for it based on closing ridiculous volume of deals, personal brand awareness, influence, and the amount of people that know who they are without them having to chime on about how long they've been in the industry. Anytime somebody does that, I know they are unsuccessful. Now, experience does not matter. Value matters. You could be a brand new agent and be able to win listing presentations and buyers presentations over more experienced agents if you provide more value. At the end of the day, the only thing buyers and sellers care about is, can you get them the outcome they're looking for in the least amount of time and stress possible, and either make or save them the most money possible. That's it. If you can clearly communicate, which is the number one skill any agent needs, and you can articulate exactly how you're gonna do it and what you're going to do specifically above and beyond any other agent, and you can speak with confidence, conviction, and clarity, you will beat experienced agents every single time. And I can say that because I did that in the beginning, where I won multi-million-dollar listings over top listing agents that specialize in luxury in my city, because I had a plan, I had clarity, I had confidence, and I offered a ton of value. Line number 7, you're failing if you're not closing deals every month. Listen, I know it can feel that way, and for obvious reasons, right? You look on social media and you're bound to see agents that are closing deals today, under contract tomorrow, new listing. It's constant. But that comparison is going to be the death of your joy. And you need to understand that everybody is on their own time frame. I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, for you, when it's meant to happen, for a greater purpose. And some people are on a different timeline. I know agents that did absolutely nothing in their first year. They closed maybe 0 to 3 deals, and then they kicked themselves in the butt and, started to be disciplined, consistent, embraced delayed gratification, and took ownership of their own business and elevated their standards. And in their second year, third year, they went on to be absolute closing machines and were breaking $500,000 to $1 million. But in their first year, they weren't doing anything. Sometimes you just need a rude awakening, or something happens in your timeline that's going to give you that opportunity. So don't believe all these people on YouTube saying that you have to close 6 figures in your first year. If you consciously try and you don't, as long as you're building up the skill sets that will eventually get you there, that's okay. Don't compare yourself to other people, because if you can become the best version of yourself, you will crush every other agent in your market. Line number 8. Now, this one is a little bit tough. And it's tough because a lie that many people are told is that, don't worry, your first deals are gonna come from friends and family. Well, from experience, not all your friends and family are gonna support you on this journey. Right? I quit engineering. All of my uncles were engineers as well. While my parents supported me, many of my friends didn't, many of my uncles didn't. And that's okay, because I believed in myself and I knew why I was doing that. But none of my friends were looking to buy a house because they were all too young when I got into real estate based on the affordability of my city. Also, none of my family lived here, and so none of my deals were gonna come through my family or my friends. And additionally, not all of them are gonna support you. And transparently, I can guarantee that at some point in your journey, anybody that I know that's been in the industry for years has experienced this, is that some of your friends and family are gonna work with other agents. And that's okay. That's part of the process, and that's something that you just have to accept. And so one of the things I want you to do and understand is never put your destiny in the hands of anybody else. You need to take full, complete ownership of your business and the activities that you do, without hoping or relying on anybody, because if you do, that is almost guaranteed to lead to massive disappointment. Lie number 9, sometimes people are gonna tell you if you don't close deals within 3 months, then it's just not for you. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth. Let me give you some context here. I don't know, outside of real estate, a single business owner that maybe, let's say, a bakery, somebody's dream, their life's work has been, they want to open a bakery. And they finally open that bakery and sales are slow in the first 3 months, so they quit. It's the number one thing they want to do. They wake up every day, they're excited about it, they're passionate about it, it's all they think about. And in 3 months, it doesn't work out, they're done. No, it's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And sometimes businesses don't come into their own or hit that inflection point of mass momentum for a couple of years. And that's okay, because it should be a journey for a couple of decades. And so don't get so hung up on trying to do it and looking at all these unicorn stories of people that did it in less time. Who cares? Who cares? This is your journey, your life, your timing. That's all that matters. As long as you're excited and passionate about it and you've got a clear purpose and a definitive why, like your family that you're trying to do this for, it doesn't matter how long it takes. If you do the right work, it will work out. And lie number 10, just copy top agents. Copy what everybody's doing. There is something to say about R&D or rip off and duplicate to be able to look at what other people are doing and use that as a reference, but not copying it. This is where I see a lot of agents go wrong, and why they struggle with content is that they see another agent that they are kind of in admiration of, and they want to be like them or do what they're doing, and they try and be exactly like them. And what happens is when you're trying to create content and be somebody that is inauthentic to you, it's no wonder why it's so exhausting to put out content and to be consistent, because it's just not you. Whereas if I asked you to talk about your favorite passion, or maybe your favorite sport, or your family, your kids, your spouse, your parents, because that's authentic to you, you could talk about that with passion, excitement, clarity, confidence for hours and create endless content about it. It's difficult to do that when it's not genuine to you. So my recommendation is, yes, find some people who you like what they're doing. I think it's incredible to have inspiration, but find ways to put your own spin on it, because that's gonna make it unique, it's gonna make it way easier to be consistent, and you're gonna have a ton more fun doing it. Now drop a comment again, because I wanna hear what some of the lies are that you have heard. And if you want to know the path to 6 figures in the next 12 months, check out this next video, because I break down the exact schedule and the routine that, based on me helping a ton of agents just like you, will get you there in no time.